All go this go crazy. Gary said work hard. Gary said that's it. Gary said keep going. Gary said don't quit. Gary said them little things in life might be it. Gary said since 3rd grade I've been hustling like this. I know the feeling, I went hard since 6. I kept on building, put work into my wish. You're gonna make it, just love what you give. I say you're gonna make it, just love what you give. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know a V friends cost like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you could live your dreams. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Whoa. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Whoa. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know a V friends cost like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you can live your dreams. Whoa. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. It's a lifestyle, flipping NFTs. Now I'm up, VeVe Boss 100 G's. I got NFTs, shout out Gary V. Win after win, it's a marathon. Investing on my money, what I've been on. Grinding on my life just to stand out. I got NFTs, asking for no handouts. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. Needed motivation, he said follow me. You know a V friends cost like 40 G's. If you put the work in, you could live your dreams. I got NFTs, feel like Gary V. I got NFTs.
Yo, what is going on, Omi homies and Omets all over the world? Let me know where you're tuning in from. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about VeVe, some over-the-counter, aka OTC deals happening behind closed doors over the weekend. So yeah, I touched grass this weekend. Hopefully you spent time with your family, had fun. I did, and I came back to VeVe Twitter absolutely melting down. We're going to get into all of that and all the crazy news and what it exactly means. So again, let's just hop into it, man. Let's just get into Twitter and just show you what's kind of going on. I mean, yeah, it's quite of a lot to take in, so we're going to hop on over to Twitter here. First up, we have this meme right here popping in from VeVe Digital Collectible .eth saying, you know, OUP OTC. So I thought that was actually pretty funny in light of the situation. Again, we're going to get into all of this and what exactly it is. And if you missed it, we're going to get into all that. I mean, this was a futter's dream, right? Look at, you have Buck Nasty here with some of the memes as well. Wonder what's next. And then, of course, yeah, anyways, don't want to say that one out loud. The Gale even commenting on this, never a dull moment in... saying a never dull moment on VeVe. I'm curious to see how the VeVe story ends long term. It's been the most interesting experience thus far. I hope the Moon Boys are right. Coming from one of the former Moon Boys, the Gale. Shout out to the Gale. I love you, Gale. Yeah, I mean, it's just some, yeah, entire VeVe Twitter just weighing in on the situation. Boodle NFT, oh, you know, I'm just having some fun with the drama. Palm, HRO, DC NFT, watching the VeVe OTC deal go down on Twitter. My collectibles just with regular content. I mean, the list goes kind of on here. So yeah, let's get into it. I mean, Chris did a good video, so I'm not going to even try to do a video. We're going to kind of look into his video. Shout out to the other part of the Degen Dad here, just to show you kind of what's going on. So let's go ahead and mute my music and we'll play the video.
Unconventional video. As you can see, I have just the regular webcam instead of the HD one. Was not expecting to make this video on a Sunday night, but something pretty big just happened that I really want to talk about.
Chris, you're so quiet in your videos, bro. We gotta get you to turn up that gain a little bit. Let me actually see. Let's see if I can jack with the...
We were sitting trying to debunk it.
Oh, okay, no, that's good.
For the last 3 hours, and finally it came out into light exactly what happened. So essentially, from VeVe's wallet itself, over 50 collectibles and comics were transferred. Some of these collectibles and comics were mint numbers that were not available to the public. and they were all transferred to this one account that was a known community member. So of course, it didn't show any transactions or anything like that of like the value of what this community member sent. So we were all wondering, like, was this an accident? Was this a hack? And I'm not accusing the community member of this, but like, what happened? Because there, at this moment, we didn't know that there was any sort of OTC deals, and this was just kind of weird. And before we go into a lot of that and kind of get more into this process, I actually want to show you what we saw in live.
All right, so this guy, I think is Danny Boy. He's been around forever, a big whale in the community. He tried to kind of like, smooth it over. I think he was the one who actually purchased the MC comic #1, Master Comics. I'm thinking of Master Collectors Program, which I still haven't got beta access to. Hello, like, come on, meow. Like, I need that beta access. Anyways, yeah, so what was it? Marvel Comics #1. I believe he bought one, like a low mint comic for a lot of money. So that's kind of it right there. And then he tried to smooth it over. It says, VeVe is not hacked. There's no risk to assets. I encourage anyone wanting to invest a lot of money far outside of bank credit card limits to approach VeVe direct, but expect every gem to be $1 and every transaction to be at or above floor rates at some sometimes multiples. So this was kind of like after the fact, after we had like blockchain, like gurus and blockchain forensic scientists over here in the community doing their due diligence, which I'm super happy to see, actually. Like, we've come a long way in the community. I love to see people looking up the data. I remember saying in the beginning that the data was going to matter, the blockchain matters, and token data matters. And I used to get a lot of crap for that. So how the times have changed. Now people are looking at the data, and all of a sudden it's just the standard. So again, I'm excited to see people actually looking at the data, looking at the blockchain. Super refreshing from the beginning days of getting made fun of, called stupid. It's not going to matter. Apparently it matters now. So anyways, that's my bone to pick. So back to the show. All right. So sorry, I had a little bone to pick. I had to. I'm sorry. All right. So anyways, we had blockchain, scientists over here. For lack of better words, looking at the data and revealing this information, right? A lot of stuff was being transferred, like what the heck, coming from some of these wallets, VeVe wallets or something like that. I think Javier has some information on it. There's some other people putting information on it. You got to tag me in the stuff, guys. Like, I can't cover your tweets if you're not tagging me in these tweets. So please tag me in these tweets. I see you tagging like some pretty good people, but hello, we need you tagging me in some of these tweets, or just sending it to me in a DM, all this news, and I'd be happy to cover it. So anyways, that's that. Okay, so this is Chris's video, Chris Coffey. We're going to continue to play it. He tweeted, if you missed what happened, here's a recap. 50 plus VeVe collectibles and comics were transferred from VeVe to Danny. These included comics not available to public, like MC1 100 and FF1 100. Community was confused because they didn't know OTC was possible. Danny confirmed.
Live action.
It's kind of like the TLDR.
Javier Torres, as always, for just...
Oh, there it is, right there. Javier doing his due diligence.
A lot of this stuff. So essentially,
and mind you, Javier was a moon boy to begin with. All right, so it's not like he's always been just like being bad. He just wants transparency. All right, so that's kind of what that is kind of summing up how a lot of people feel about this. And me, I'm just covering this. So we'll wrap up how I feel about it towards the end. You decide how you feel. I'm not gonna like show you or tell you how to feel, but we're gonna go ahead and push play on this.
Essentially, these items got transferred out, and everybody was super confused and asking what was going on.
Best dads in Web3. Hey, Sleeping Comics.
Sell here. This actually was not a sell. I think it was a mess up on the bot. But what we can get from the bot is that from rank 1, which is VeVe's address, to rank 9, which is Danny's address, this was sent. And if you look just a few hours ago, I'm doing this in pretty real time. This was 4 hours ago. Danny received a lot of collectibles. So he starts receiving...
Here we go, baby.
Just one after one about 4 hours ago. So we'll do these. You'll see some really big pieces here.
Got that signed.
To me, the most interesting thing is when you click on some of the comics, I'm going to go ahead and open this link in a new tab. And you can see right here that well, this is actually edition 2622, so this is a bad example. But I did click on other examples. I believe this Fantastic Four #1 edition, number 100.
All right, you kind of get the idea. That's kind of the TLDR. This person said, let's analyze the over-the-counter transaction that took place between JDS the movie and VeVe Official. As per the deal, JDS the movie received approximately $78K, while VeVe Official received around $10K. It's important to note that these figures are subject to change based on the current floor of the price of the collectibles and comics involved in the trade. And so that kind of sums it up there in Chris's video. Shout out to Chris for making the video. Give him a like and subscribe over there. Regardless how you feel, is this good? So we're going to cover the good and the bad. We're not just going to, we're not going to talk about just the bad, right? We're going to talk about the good and the bad and how they could have done this at a better way. Okay. So how I feel about this, let me get to the chat actually real quick. So we see Blockchain Comics in the chat. We see SoCal Homie G Money. Shout out to the channel members in the house. Let's go. Really appreciate you guys. Let's give away a YouTube membership real quick as well. Let me hop on over to the side quest menu. We're not going to over here on the side. Let me see if I can give away a quick membership while I'm doing this. Let me scroll down to membership. Bada bing. Bada boom. If you're quick enough, you can grab a free membership here on the channel. It's going to be in the chat, and there it is. So yeah, be quick. We have Blockchain Andy in the chat. We have a lot of OGs in the chat today. Slider2333 gifted a free membership. Shout out to you and all the other channel members. We have Sleeping Comics, Best Dads in Web3. Let's go. DW, he's left now. Kind of fitting that the House of Cards NFTs were involved in this. I just came for the memes. Hello, K in the house. Social Blade stats were interesting. Yeah, Social Blade stats. So Social Blade, all right. This is a platform I've been using for years to track like other channel growth. It's a great platform where you can like track social media. You can track ranking, how well an account's doing. You can track organic growth. I use this platform. I've used this platform for years for actual brands and businesses in my marketing career. So again, I've been marketing for over 10 plus years doing stuff like this. Social Blade was tracking, like some people have been tracking the VeVe Twitter stats, and it's been kind of losing followers week after week. So not a whole lot of traction, even after the Sesame Street. So people are tracking that. That's just something that I thought I would just bring up because somebody mentioned it just now. Allegedly, he traded 10K of tainted House of Cards and got 80K of low mints and SRs, not available to the rest of the VeVe fam. It came for the memes. Let's see, read through these. Win Hello K Crypto. Win memes. Imagine if all this VeVe update was more soon, LOL. Yeah, this doesn't bode well for the next community update, and it kind of makes me feel bad in a way. Maybe like, I support, I love the team. All right, so we love the team here on the channel. But if they could just get it in front of this stuff a little bit better, a little bit quicker, maybe roll things out more officially, I think this would like be a much more positive, should have been a more positive reaction to this type of deal or whole ordeal, right? So we'll talk about that in just a second. We're going to keep reading comments here in the chat. Hello K says the OTC deals on GoChain were way worse if you were around back then. There's a whole Telegram scam controversy and people got compensated with some spicy collectibles back then. If you know, you know. Yeah, lots of weird stuff probably happened back then, and it wasn't as traceable as it is now. So I'm happy to see that we can actually track these a little bit better nowadays. Yeah, no telling what happened on GoChain. I mean, I don't know. People know, I guess, but I'm not one of those. Gifted womanship. Let's see. Congrats, Slider. The Cray Mountain. Sorry, man. Let me view your message and I'll try to read it here on stream. I got a crazy bot doing crazy stuff. Classic VeVe. Get a Sleeping Series 2 hat. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, all right. Got it. Okay, so now let's talk about kind of what I think about it. Again, what I was just saying, they could have got ahead of it. They could have rolled it out a little bit more officially. Maybe a Medium article, maybe something like that. The bad part of it was that somebody had in the VeVe community, again, had to go to the blockchain, look at these transactions. We're seeing people like HODL Fandom, cover some weird mule, account activity. We're seeing like people dig up some weird stuff. Even Cavell's brought it up, like people are so bored, they're just digging up weird stuff. But, VeVe was releasing features and things like that. Maybe, that's not to justify what's happening, right? Anyways, I was just saying Cavell brought that up. So yeah, people are digging up like all this stuff, and it just doesn't bode well, because this could be an opportunity for VeVe to like get out in front, like make an official article and get people actually hyped about this type of release, because there's a good part of this. All right. The good part is if they did properly roll it out, they could hype this part up. And, I think Danny even said it, like it's technically kind of would have a trickle down effect to collectibles, right? If there's bigger deals happening on the app, then that would be positive and beneficial for NFT holders on the app, right? Because if like, let's say a secret rare Spider-Man sells, which I own one, but if like a super low mint sold for like, I don't know, like $100,000 or whatever, which I think, or maybe like 200,000, I don't know, then that would like kind of help the price out a little bit on the floor, right? So there would be good, but the fact that like people had to dig this up to find it, and then that Danny boy actually like brought it up like on Twitter and kind of he confirmed it basically, right? This should have been confirmed by the team. The team should have been like on this like that. I would have been off my weekend break immediately, like responding to stuff. So it doesn't really bode well with a lot of people in the community, even some of the OGs. It's just like if you've been on the app for a very long time, you've been trying to collect these low mints, you've been trying to, play the game, play the Master Collector program, you've been stacking your gems, stacking your money, flipping, doing your best to collect these low mints, and then all of a sudden there's just this back door that was there for only a select few people, or maybe just one person. I don't know. It just doesn't look good. The optics to it just do not look good. Again, they could have rolled it out, an official OTC, Medium article, highlighting this and being like, yeah, this is XYZ beneficial. Here's why it's going to be beneficial for the app. And here is what to expect. And here's how you apply. And here's what you do. And that could have been a way they could have gone about it, release an article, do a Twitter space around it, and have some of the team members on that Twitter space to answer some of these questions, and make it more of an official type of deal. And again, that would have been probably beneficial for the app, app wide. And this still could be long term, right? This still could be a good thing long term. But here in the short term, optically, it just doesn't look good. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, now this is happening again. Come on, let's get in front of these types of things, and let's handle this at a very high level and address some of these issues, right? So we don't want to be the app that's like not getting it out in front of things. And I get like the founders are out there, they're out there on the trip. Maybe they're bringing in more licenses. Maybe they're doing their, whatever. I don't know what they're doing. Okay. I'm not necessarily like, I'm not a guy that's like, hey, the founders needed to do everything. All right. If you're a founder, you need to delegate, and you need to have a great team built around you. Okay. The best companies in the world have amazing talent around them. And those are the people that I kind of look to for these types of rollouts and these types of things to get ahead of. All right. So that's kind of who I'm kind of looking to right now, and like, let's get ahead of this. Like, where are they at? And it's Monday. It's almost 10 o'clock. We need, like, I don't know if I've seen one official response yet. I would love to see that. But again, this is like kind of another slip up, and I normally don't cover a lot of this news because I'm a long-term holder. I like to see things play out. I know it's crypto winter. There's a lot of catalysts, bear catalysts. There's a lot of things that I see, and this could be one of those, right? So I don't like to cover a lot of negative stuff, but This one was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back here, man. I'm not gonna lie. Because, you know, if I'm a whale, I'm playing the game. I've always been about the game on the app, right? The Master Collectors program, you're collecting, you're trying to work your way up, or maybe you want that OG, like that super rare comic, and you really want to, you really want to flex that in the metaverse or the VeVeverse or whatever, right? And it's going to cost you a lot of money to do that. And you want to put your hard-earned dollars to purchase that number 41, that first public mint or that super low mint, and then all of a sudden VeVe just sells an over-the-counter behind your back. You know, how's that going to make you feel? Probably not too good. So again, this is something they should have like addressed early on. I'm not happy about it, to be honest, and I'm not even a whale. So I have some low mint comics, but not like super low. Again, I'm not a whale, so I am not like, if I was a whale, I would probably be upset. But that's just my opinion. Again, this long term could be still bullish for the VeVe app because again, this could be, you know, bringing more money into the app, right? Know your business. Like this could have been the know your business rollout. Over the counter rollout. It's so in like crypto, you get projects that always they do over the counter trades for a lot of different reasons, but it's very common, right? It's very common practice. You see OTC trades and deals with crypto, the actual coin. I think VeVe's already done. I think VeVe's done OTC selling of OMI before, right? And so that's pretty normal. All right. In crypto, that's pretty standard. But when you have a master collectors program, you have OUP, you have like all these dynamics, gamification in the app, you have these super low, like arguably some of the most, these could be the most valuable NFTs in the space long term. It kind of matters, right? It's like, this isn't like, hey, we had this like OTC thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, by the way, we just had this OTC thing. No, it's like, this should have been official. Like, this should have been official. All right, that's what I'm saying. Like, we have Chat GPT. If you don't have time to write the articles, use Chat GPT to whip up an article real quick. You know what I mean? Like, in my opinion, the excuses, the excuse bar is getting lower. Like, there should not be this issue, and so that's where my shtick is right now. Like, that's where my little qualm with it. Again, I still have my collectibles. I haven't sold any. Like, I have my VeVe logos, which they're for sale in the market, but I'm just kind of like, I'm kind of just farming followers on the app. I'm still wanting to do like master collector program long term. I'm not a whale, but I'm going to accumulate what I can here and there to kind of like level up a little bit. And again, I am excited for the VeVeverse, and I don't think it's going to come out Q1. I've said that like last year, and it doesn't look like it's going to come out Q1. I just got an announcement. Yay, baby. Speaking of Master Collectors Program. Like all this fun. I'm like super excited about this still. Yeah, so like that's my short-term shtick. Again, could be bullish long-term. Let me get to the comments. I know you guys have been chatting like wildfire here in the chat. It's all up here on the channel. By the way, if you like what you're I guess this isn't like the most positive news, but if you're liking the stream, thumbs up. I appreciate the support. Helps us break through the YouTube algorithm and get seen. And subscribe, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any more streams like this. We'll be covering a lot of projects. Basie, other side. We'll be even on Paul Barron's channel. We got some really great content coming up over there that you guys will be absolutely excited about. We have lots of other. I'm looking at working with another platform actually around. It may be around comics, maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned for that. All right, so let me get to the chat. Okay, let's see here. I'm in the top 5% of the most categories. OMI wallets. I love to trade back with the 7x upside. Didn't know that was an option. ROTC deals against terms of service. I'm not really, yes, to that. So it's like rules for me, but not for thee. And somebody said that in a side chat. and an OG said that. So I've spoken with a lot of OGs. A lot of OGs are not very excited about this. So if you do see, and that's one thing, we need to be more open and we need to be a little bit more unbiased about what's going on. And I think that we could get the message across in a constructive, positive way, just by doing content like this, where it's just unbiased, right? And that could help a little healthy, I don't know, move forward, I guess. I don't know. And build a little bit of that trust back into the community. So anyways, that's all I got. We got my wife coming in. Say hello.
Hi.
Okay, so let's see. Why should a KYB group get preferred treatment? That's a good question. Now, if it's like, okay, I'm for KYB, right? I'm not like against KYB. I'm for it. And if I see like a museum or a fund, like go for it. Like buy these collectibles, send it, like whatever. It's going to help me out. Like, you know, I don't necessarily mind that, right? Let's see. In my opinion, I think he's buying certain mints collectibles for big companies until they hold them safely. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I think he is too. I think Danny is not just buying for himself. He's probably working with some business and treating it like a business. I get it. I'm fine with that. It's just how VeVe rolled it out. This isn't on Danny. Like, Danny, it's not Danny's job to do a PR tweet for VeVe, right? That's VeVe's job to do that. Or maybe a Comey could do that. I don't know. Like, somebody needs to get behind this. We've seen them go from too much communication, and now it's like slingshotted to not enough communication. So I think there's a good medium ground where they could fall in the middle somewhere and kind of do both, right? And it's tough. I get it. It's tough. Like I would not want Alex's job. I would not want Reese's job. That's a tough job. All right. I would never want their job. It's tough, but I do get it. Like, you do need to you still need to get the job done at the end of the day. And not to say it's like their fault or their, like, I don't know, like maybe they didn't know, maybe, you know, I don't know. There's so many things that we don't know, and we probably will never know, unless we worked for VeVe. So anyways, that's just like, I guess a rant there. All right, so let's get back to the comments here. There are against the US, many users have been banned. That's another thing. Yeah, I've seen that point brought up, is that like people and users are getting banned for doing trades or whatever, and they were dealing with like muddy collectibles or whatever, or I don't know what the case exactly is, but some of them have gotten banned and for doing exactly this. And so it is kind of a bummer for users like that get banned. And then, I mean, it is like, these collectibles aren't cheap, right? These are worth a lot of money. So that does stink. That does stink. So let's not ignore these situations going on. I know a lot of content creators, like some of them are still kind of scared to cover a little bit of this stuff and love to just cover the positive stuff. But I think as a collective, we can really hone in some of these issues and make them known, because if everybody is just always like, you know, permeable, I get that, and I get why you'd want to be, and I was there too. But things won't necessarily improve if like people don't talk about it. So it's important to bring some of this stuff up. Again, I'm still bullish on VeVe long term. I think they're going to be fine. I've made the case even against like Amazon. Like, Amazon could technically fail. They have a list of failures. They could work with VeVe. We don't know. All right, we don't know what the future is. I think VeVe has a great position with the licenses they have. We just need to have a little bit better communication lines or some way for them to get in front of it. I don't know what that looks like, because I don't, you know, that's up to them. If it was a money raise, they should have auctioned off pieces. That's another good thing. This could have been a really hyped up deal. Again, this could have been an opportunity for the app to get a lot of attention and a lot of press and a lot of excitement in the wider NFT community, and even in the VeVe community, which is the most important part of the app itself, is the community. where you make this into an auction. It goes for raffle or for sale. I mean, in an auction style, maybe Dutch based. I don't know. And this thing goes for a high dollar amount. And then all of a sudden people are hyped up. Yo, did you see this? This NFT, let's stream it live. Like, let's watch this auction, like in the countdown. Like, yo, you know what I mean? This could have been hyped. So that is another kind of missed opportunity as well. Again, it's not like I'm mega bearish on this whole deal. I'm just saying this could have been an opportunity, right? And I think that's where they kind of need to get the blinders off and start looking at everything as an opportunity, not just like, oh, it was just this thing. Like, no, let's everything's an opportunity in this community, right? The Kay brought it up before, is the SVB collapse and Signature Bank collapse. That could have been an opportunity where they address this and like really connect with the core user. So Roger E says, I love the Element X were active on Twitter after the problematic drop and before first drop. I still haven't. I tried on the Mona Lisa. I was trying to figure out how to get on their allow list, and I had a little trouble with the first drop. I would love to get some pointers from you on that. I'm trying to get worked into their ecosystem. I've covered them a few times. They've followed me way back in the day when they were still VTEL or whatever. And so they were kind enough to follow me way back then. And I've always followed what they're doing. And I saw that when they first changed their name to Element X. So obviously, like with the Patrick Hughes art, big fan of that. I don't have any pieces myself, but I still love the art. Artists are, artists like Patrick are awesome, man. So I love to see platforms like that succeed. So curious to see what they do long term, and fan of AR collectibles as well, where you can display them and all that good stuff. I'm not saying Frank Sabata. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry, Frank. I'm not selling VeVe or OMI, but this kind of stuff makes decentralization, actual ownership, and interoperability seem much more important. Maybe time to buy Bitcoin instead of NFTs. LOL. I mean, it's a great point. It's a great point. It's optically, it just makes, it's just not a pretty sight currently. Mints don't matter. David E. Forrest. So Kyle, big transaction will burn up a lot of OMI. They burn OMI. This will help the community who hold the OMI token. That's true. Ace rig move. That's true. Long term and short term, this is not very, it's again, is just a missed opportunity, right? So there is good to it. There is a silver lining. So don't get me twisted. This is still good, right? This is still good for the app. Now they need to release. They need to talk about this. If they don't say anything at all, and this continues to go on, it's not going to be good. It's just not. So we don't need to pretend that it's good if they don't bring it up. And we can't. We got to stop pretending like. Yeah, anyways, I don't want to go on another rant. Let's see. Even if it does burn OMI, I'm not sure if that's the case for OTC deals. That's a good point. Burning from reserve wallet does nothing for circulating supply or market price for OMI. So yeah, if you're a blockchain guru or you track all that, let me know. Does that burn OMI? Does it not? OTC deals, are they kind of locked in with their own ecosystem if it's going through just reserve wallet? Because that doesn't affect anything at all. And that's a good point. Working 25/7. Let's go. Frank, I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer, just forgetting about VeVe and coming back in 2 to 3 years while logging in every few months. So VeVe doesn't steal my vault, LOL. Yeah, that's another thing. The terms of service, that's not a good look either, because you do have to log in at every so often. I can't. Yeah, that's just something that they should change. I think they should change that terms of service. I don't think that's fair. I think they should change it somehow. 2 years, that's just that's not a lot of time. That's just 24 months. That's just not a good optic look either. But unless they made everything interoperable, and then that would kind of remedy that or rectify that. 56 watchers, only 5 likers liking. Good point. Actually, it shows 19, so you got to refresh. I appreciate everybody tuning in, by the way. VeVeverse quarter 2. Yeah, I think VeVeverse will come quarter 2. And I've always said that. When they said quarter 1 in that community update last year, I was like, nah, it ain't happening quarter 1. It's quarter 2. I always make sure like you extend it at least a quarter or two when they do their announcements. They probably shouldn't give like timelines or time horizons even anymore. It should just be circled around those like roadmap circles, and just update that. And then I don't know, just have that more available. I don't know. I don't know if there's a solid answer around how they're going to get around those timelines. And I get like they're working on getting their processes down. Shout out to Mitch, really bullish on Mitch. I know he's been working his probably tail off, like with going on behind the scenes and what he is doing. Dan probably selling low mints OTC to buy new rims. Hey man, I do like Dan, man. I know people like give Dan a lot of crap, but I like Dan. I saw him racing. I saw pictures of him racing. They got the race car. He's doing this thing out there. They bring in all the licenses. I mean, can't be too mad at Dan or David. Let's see here. I'm trying to catch up with all the comments here. Kyle, pull up the racetrack pics. That Fast and Furious post. All right, yeah. Let me see if I can find it real quick. So this one comes from Biscuits5. You know, Biscuits have been around in the community for like forever. So she's an OG. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. So these pics were taken found on Facebook. She typed in like VeVe cars. This popped up. People thought it was fake, but then we saw Dan Carruthers out there racing. Hey, I'm actually an F1 fan, so I think this is actually pretty cool. If I owned a VeVe app, I would be like doing cool stuff like this. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is to me, this is actually pretty cool. Now I know people are gonna be like, he should have been like doing the app or whatever. Like I'm like, yo, we all need to touch grass or touch a gas pedal every once in a while. So I don't blame him for this at all. So look at this. It says what does it say? Crowther. It shows this team down there. I think this is kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, that's just because I'm biased because I'm a big F1 fan. I love watching racing. So I thought this was actually pretty neat. So yeah, there's the car. Maybe they'll drop that as an NFT one day. I don't know. So there's the VeVe race car in the app. So okay, let's see. Cavernous announced 60 to 90 day delay for their connector. Personally, they think this impacts VeVeverse. When did they announce that? Holy moly. Did they actually? Let's just go to their Twitter. Let's go to their Twitter right now and see. Cavernous. Really, it's like CAVR. Like maybe it actually stands CAR, Cavernous. All right, so I don't see anything on Twitter. They don't post much on Twitter. February 1st, Outer Edge, they're going to be at some place. So I don't really see on the Twitter. Now, it could be on their website. They only have 600 followers on Twitter, which is actually it's not a whole lot. Let me know where you found that, and we'll pull it up here on the screen. So Cavernous, VeVeverse. Yeah, I'm curious to see what this looks like when they launch it. Could be exciting. I don't know. We'll see. I am excited that Cavernous is, engine agnostic, and we can port it to any engine meta. Let me know if it's saying here on YouTube. Are you guys seeing the video pretty smoothly here? We have 91 people coming through. Cavernous announced 69. So yeah, that to me shows quarter two. That basically confirms if that's true that. Let me change my settings real quick. Make sure the video quality is coming in pretty good here on the stream. I think it's because we're streaming at 60 frames per second, and because I was doing some gaming. So let me turn down the bit rate just a smidgen. Maybe that will help it out. Okay. Back to the chat. Lucas says, the only thing I don't like about this is that the transaction didn't burn OMI. Maybe you asked this. Yeah, I think if they could include OMI burns in these OTC trades and change that, then I think that would be great. That would remedy the situation a little bit there and satisfy OMI holders. So OMI holders are a big proponent in this community, man. If you look at all the videos that the content creators do, a lot of the views that get the most amount of clicks and views are people who cover OMI specifically. And that's always been the case. So again, definitely got to always make sure you treat the OMI community. And I think that would be great if they could include the OMI burns in these trades. Let's see here. This is kind of KYB. You are absolutely correct. Yeah. I don't mind this going on. It's just they need to be out in front of it. They need to make the optics look good, clean it up, do an official announcement, and get in front of these types of issues. Don't let I just don't see why the community members have to find this stuff out, right? Like this shouldn't be the case. Let's see. Great work. Thanks, says Steve. Yo, Steve. Shout out to Steve, channel member here of the channel. Light is the best disinfectant. Just in Binance sued by the CFTC. Oh, by the Commodities Trade Commission. Wow. Commodities and futures. So that's crazy. Okay. I guess it's because they're doing perpetuals. Maybe that's why. I don't know why they would be suing. Why would they be suing Binance, the CFTC? Like, is it because they're perpetual trades? I don't really get that. Someone said that the mints. Let's turn on some music. Let's give it. I miss when non-fungible was in the community, man. We'll play this. We'll play this song right now. Oh, this is bad. All right. So it says Iron Man LG said someone said that the mints weren't below their 41. Maybe it's the recovered collectibles from the scammers. You know, that would be good and exciting, and I'm fine with that. But again, make this official, make it announced, right? Somehow qualify these businesses, right? It's still kind of like if I'm a whale and I'm buying like a low mint and it's like a $20,000 comic and it's like a 41 or a 50, whatever, and I buy it on the floor for like, $20K, and then VeVe sells a low mint right around my mint number for like $15K. I would probably be pretty upset if I found out, and I could have saved like $5K, because $5K is $5K. So that's why a lot of like OGs and a lot of whales and a lot of people are kind of disgruntled about this whole situation for that specific reason. And it kind of changes the game, right? Since the beginning, it's always been a game to collect the low mints. And I've always said, like, to be careful of that. I know, like, when Pags was out there, like, preaching low mints, like, listen, I used to preach that too, but I always said, be careful, though, because VeVe keeps supply, and you could see them sell off some of that supply. And I've always said that. And, I know Pags was, like, super bullish back in the day, and maybe he wasn't aware of that. Maybe he was. I don't know. Shout out to Pags, though. I'd love to get Pags on the channel sometime to actually get his pick his brain about this situation. I think he would be a good person to hear from. So if you see him, tag him. We'll bring him on. Whatever. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so like this, like I've always was like kind of cautious of collecting the low mints for like reasons like this, which I didn't know was gonna be a reason. I thought they would just make this official. I thought they would do giveaways and unlock some of these anyways. But this is kind of like not, disgruntles some of the users, right? So, all right. Why don't you join, Chris? Why don't you join in, Crack? Oh, yeah. Let's see. FUD, 69 watchers. Chris, you're welcome to pop in. I don't know how we can get you on OBS, so I'm using OBS to stream today. Let's see. Why don't you join in? I want VeVe Drag Racer car. That'd be pretty cool, actually. I think a cool collectible. Video looks... I've always said VeVe should do, like, their more their own IP, and they're more, like, centered around more of their brand. I think they'll do great. And you don't need brand permission. They just can create their own collectibles. We've seen it with the logos, but I think they have a lot of opportunity to drop their own branded stuff. I think it's just cool. People want to collect VeVe. Like this light sold back here, like Silicon bought his light for like a lot of money. So again, I think there's a huge market for VeVe collectibles, because a lot of people are still long-term believers. They're still like core users. So I think that would be great. Maybe they drop their own avatars, like their own like little Funko style collectibles. They could do a lot with that. Video looks sharp for me. Good. We understand you have been watching for early access to the Cavernous Metaverse Connector. We are finalizing the new beta plugin. We'll have it available to share in the next couple of months. Oh, wow. Okay. Was that an email? Oh, I got this email. I signed up for the beta. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Now, I wonder if that's just a plugin, though, because like the VeVeverse will probably be its own app, or you download it in like the Epic Games like marketplace, like an actual game. So I don't know if the plugin will be associated with that. I don't know. I don't know what that looks like. So we'll see. I think the VeVe team should definitely clear that up, though. If the VeVeverse is delayed, or we're shooting for quarter 2 now, maybe they should cover that in a community update. I think that would be great. I got this in an email. Wasn't going invited. Comment. GM. Daniel Marquez in the house. Welcome. Sorry I'm late. Dad stuff. Hey, I get you on that, man. DJ Dad. Dan used that OTC money to buy the car. Wow, Chris is flooding Dan. Look at that. More than 2% of VeVe users are watching. Let's go. Chris, why they have a new maybe gold and silver logo. StreamYard's doo-doo. I was trying to watch you use StreamYard on here. I'll invite you on Google Meets. We'll get you in here. See, I don't need that. I don't need that StreamYard's BS up in this joint. Start an instant meeting. All right, Chris. I'm gonna message you on Twitter. Unless you're gonna chicken out here on the stream in front of everybody. We'll get Chris up in here. All right, Chris, I just sent that link over if you want to pop in. Try to set it up here. Yo, what's going on? Let me try to get this screen set up so we can all see you on stream. That's not it. That's the wrong one. Bear with me. We're trying to find you up on the screen. How's it going, man? How are you? Chris, are you live? Can you hear? All right, we may not be able to get Chris in because Google Meets is actually. Go to your computers and unmute your mic and adjust the level. All right, bear with me, fam. I got six, I could let them all. Yeah, don't get rigged, how do foot along. Yeah, he call me next, they can't do no wrong. Yeah, got no threats, we too far along. Yeah, I made a bet, now my money strong. Feel like David, you got a Charizard, Bulbasaur, Mewtwo. We All right, can you hear me? Oh, what the? Yo, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, hey man. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm still trying to pull you up on the stream.
Don't worry. If it's trouble, don't worry about it.
Was
It's not a big deal.
no, we want to see your beautiful mug.
Beautiful mug.
I guess you don't have a beautiful mug.
No, I have a regular. I'm at my shop.
Oh, you got a regular mug.
Yeah, I got a regular cup. Your single use ice cup.
Do you know what mug means?
Oh, like me mug.
Yeah.
And I have a resting angel face.
Oh, okay. I got you. All right, I'm still trying to pull. We might have to just do it from scratch here. Let me see if I can do.
No. Don't worry about it.
No, we're worried about it.
No, don't worry about it, bro.
No.
I'll be in chat.
No, it's cool. We're worried about it. We're gonna capture that beautiful face of yours. So what's your thoughts about this, man?
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I was watching it real time last night. I was in Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. That's. We want to know your thoughts, Sir Chris.
Oh, just
Sir Chris Coffee.
I don't know, man. Like, I've like part of me wants to joke about it because it's so like, like just when things were like looking better and like the sentiment was more positive, it's like just like a left hook, like or like a sucker punch. So like I almost like want to laugh it off. Like that's my nature. But it actually, to me, it actually is like kind of a big deal because that really screws whales over, which are an important part of any economy. And that really screws just like really everyone over.
Screws the pooch a little bit.
Yeah, they're just. I think we were talked about it a little bit last night. Like, if they would have just like communicated earlier on that, like, hey, we're going to do OTC deals. If you're interested, reach out to us. I don't think anybody would have a problem. Like, it wouldn't have came out of left field. Everybody like, okay, it's equal opportunity because whales will be going after certain mints. But just us finding out on the blockchain about it. But am I live or no?
Yeah, you're live.
Okay, us finding out on the blockchain about it, and what really gets me, Kyle, I don't even know if you said this or other people said this. When we were live, somebody from our Twitter space texted David Yu, and basically his response was, "Oh, the community just kind of overreacts about things," and he said, "We'll address it if it needs to be addressed." Like, yeah, it needs to be addressed. Like you just did like a couple $100,000 OTC deal of mints that were never released to public and we didn't even think could be released, that way. Like, yeah, that's a big enough deal that maybe you should talk about it, and I just don't subscribe to the whole like, oh, it's theirs, they can do what they want, because at the end of the day, it's like it is, but it's if you tell us one thing then do another, and then like where's the money coming? Like essentially being as it's not transparent, like I made a joke about it, like this was an OTC trade because Dan just used it to buy a car because that's what we were talking about earlier. But like we don't know where the money went. Like if they wanted to, they could have pocketed it and got away with it. And the liquidity from those collectibles and comics that Danny got could be going to taking it out of our market, which is circulated by our money, which oversaturates our market. So like, yeah, it's pretty relevant and screws pretty much everybody over just because they could have simply just communicated this earlier on.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with that. And while it's like their prerogative to do their own business and their own things like that, it's also like our prerogative to know what's going on because, like, again, there's whales with a lot of money that want to invest in the app, that want to like, play the game and collect, and it's collectors at heart, and with collecting it, there's a lot of money that's involved in collecting some of these like highly sought after NFTs and collectibles. So I do think it matters. And, I didn't know he said that in this space or whatever, but I would like to see them like come out and get out in front of this. And I think it's important for that reason, collectors at heart, again, if you're collectors at heart, you got to be taking care of your collectors in the app. And that's one of these. This is kind of like highlighting that they, I don't know, they just need to get in front of that a little bit better.
No, yeah, man, absolutely. It's not about the collectors when you do something like this. It's about like how much money you have and who knows who. And that wasn't a fair option, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I want to say it is what it is, but it's really not okay, and I can't overstate that enough. Because this is, I even commented on Danny's thing. I was like, "Congrats for you. That's awesome for you, Danny." But this is about to cause a headache because I don't think they realize the implications of this. Even like the biggest VV bulls that I know are like, "Yeah, this isn't." You know, people that never say anything negative that are like all positive and bullish are kind of like, "Yeah." You know, we don't really know what to say about this because, I mean, they know that it's, I don't know, bro. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't consider it, probably gonna get flack for this. I wouldn't consider it like insider trading, but somebody that we both know said this and it really makes sense. Like, imagine just like coming out and being like, hey, I have access to this feature that nobody else has access to and able to get these collectibles and comics that nobody else can get. Like, that's kind of weird, huh? Like, would you say that's kind of weird? Nobody has direct access to do this ever that we knew of, but just out of the blue, somebody's like, "Yeah, I did this." Like, that's
right. And again, that's like goes back to their team and kind of the, you know, dare I say leadership, but yeah, it kind of falls back to the team though, because you do need to be out there announcing or getting in front of it, even if it's just Alex out there, kind of like trying to shore up some things and whatever, just getting out in front of it. I know Reese was trying to get out in front of things, maybe cause a little bit more, maybe a little bit more angst out there instead of, I don't know, like it just doesn't look good optically because it just doesn't show that the team's out there getting out in front. Instead, it's some random user, or not random. We all know who Danny Boy is, but we have Danny Boy out there confirming this instead of the team. So it's kind of frustrating in that sense. And that's where I kind of like get frustrated with it is like as a user, as somebody that creates the content, you're like, naturally, like there's probably going to be people watching the content that get excited about the platform that want to buy some of these collectibles. So I feel like in a sense, like there's a responsibility to cover some of these issues like this because it is frustrating. It's frustrating for my audience to come in here and watch like these things happen when they're going to be spending their hard-earned dollars when there's not transparency, you know what I mean? So I think that they could improve here. It's an opportunity for them to maybe hype this up still, I still think that there could be a silver lining here and make it a positive win for the community. It's just frustrating, again, like when we're doing this content and there are users out there making these types of purchases and things like that, that it does stink for that, you know, to see that type of thing happen to people that watch and people that, you know, follow and things like that. So,
dude, imagine if it happened like Danny Boy's a pretty like neutral person, you know, like nobody really like dislikes him that I know of. Imagine if like a well-known content creator, let's take Randy for instance, or Foster, that like two like people that make VV content a lot. Imagine they came out and they were like, guys, I have a really exciting announcement to make. Just last night, I made a private trade with VeVe, and I got all these really cool mints. All these like 100 mints and all these whatever, and you know how, bro, like this would blow up even bigger because like everybody, because then it would go to like an influencer level. Then I think people would like immediately go to like, well, that's. I'm not going to say that's, you know, I'm not going to go any further than that. But like,
you're saying, what you're trying to say, if this was an influencer doing this, like we would have got completely ripped apart into like a billion pieces, right?
Annihilated.
We would have got annihilated, yeah.
Annihilated, dude. I couldn't, and like, I want to say this, like, I don't have anything against Danny. I think it was a smart move for him. I think it was wrong on VeVe. I couldn't imagine like me, like trying to like, pry at the team randomly to like give me a special deal and then like not feeling like this like insane overwhelming like, oh wait, this is probably not going to be okay or received well by everyone because I'm getting this special privilege. Like that'd be in the back of my head the entire transaction. Props to him for reaching out and going through with it and everything like that. Like again, it's not on Danny. Danny just did what investors would do and just go directly to the source and ask. But the fact that VeVe went through with it without it kind of being like a public thing is just not okay.
Yeah, I could see that too for sure. And again, like you said, it's not a Danny. Like I think people that would want collectibles like that would reach out, and I don't see that being a problem. And I don't think people should bring pitchforks to Danny. Danny was just doing what Danny would like, what a lot of whales would probably want to do. But I think this is more like on VeVe, you know what I mean? And I'm not one to make like content like this. I'm not one to like bring up like a lot of the issues, because I see a lot of these issues could be fixed, or could, you know, like I just see most of these issues not being a huge issue, but I do think this one is big because it involves a lot of money and people that are interested in the low mints. And so that's why I am kind of like a little, you know, disgruntled here, is because for that reason. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I stand.
Well, and we didn't even bring up the concept, the fact that like they're so strict about off-market trading. Like literally, we're on Spaces last night, even though he's controversial still. Sorry, I just got a message. What's his name? I Help Society. He's like in the process of getting banned right now. The only reason he hasn't been banned yet is because he did get access to the team, basically allowing him 48 hours to cash out. I don't know his exact holdings, but it's a lot. As far as gems and collectibles and comics, and he doesn't even have time to sell all those collectibles and comics because there's not enough liquid right now. But anyways, all of this probably because of he did off-market dealings, and a lot of people have been banned for off-market dealings. The whole gem, debate of people buying gems at discounts or selling gems or escrowing gems. Lots of people got banned for that. While this isn't exactly the same thing, this is off-market activity that is in the open because of the blockchain. That's the only reason we found out about it. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird for me that like VeVe is allowed to do this because like in their terms of service, they basically say that we can do whatever we want. But it's more of a it's I don't know what word to use for it, but like just to be able to ban people for doing essentially what you just did, which was an OTC. I don't know. It just doesn't sit well with me, man. But like you said, I will say, like, before I come in here just being super negative, like, I think like these OTC deals, like, would be great fundraising events for VeVe. I think, like, they could raise hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars at a time, which they could pour back into the company, which would be nice to actually see if that's what's happening. And, like, I think it would be a bullish thing. Just the fact that there's no communication out of left field and special privileges to, I guess, somebody close to them, like, that's all the things that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Is like, rules for me, but not for thee. And somebody commented, Von Doom, shout out to Von Doom, OG in the community, says, "Come on, I hate helps hates because he changed his name. Society has run a shady gym business and mule operations for years, flaunting it on our faces openly. The only issue is why did it take them so long to ban him? I don't know. I don't track his account, so I can't say there, but."
Your favorite, dude, I don't know what to say. There's so many very public figures that also did the same thing. Like, I don't, if you want the entire, like, the community banned, like, from that standpoint, like, I can't tell you how many known people that has done a lot for VeVe were escrows. It was like a normal thing because people
That's
that
true.
were trusted, people that were trusted, especially if you're doxxed, because like people like kind of have that like base and familiarity and like why would they risk their reputation, helped people to cash out because like some people wanted out and they needed those escrows. That being said, I never did second market activity and I never did shady gems. The only thing I've ever done off market was when VeVe March of 2021, when the market literally didn't exist. I bought some collectibles off the secondary or off of like Discord, because there was no market at that time.
Yeah, Discord was like super OG.
Yeah, but like with that being said, I don't see anything wrong with it. But I never participated. I never even bought gems at a discount. I also had I'm an open person. I had one friend in real life that needed money and he wanted to liquidate his entire account, so I bought his entire account. But besides that, I've never done like gems or whatever.
Yeah, and a lot of OGs like from way back tuning in today. Mr. Anomalous. He said just go show VeVe always be a centralized space. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully we get interoperability for a number of reasons there. I mean, with the NBA Top Shots case, you know, depending on how that goes, like, I don't know. Hopefully we see some interoperability there. But yeah, just to go back to what you're saying, Chris, is, you know, a lot of people were doing a lot of trades off app, and that was acceptable for the meantime while VeVe built in a proper marketplace, because it was down for like months or whatever. But yeah, if you're muling, I get that. Like, I get why that way an account would get like shut down or banned for muling, aside from like escrow.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert on that account or these users, or I don't know. I don't look into any of this stuff. You guys are more experts about that than me in the chat. But yeah, like it's still though, like there could be users out there that have gotten banned for, again, selling a muddy collectible by accident, or buying one, or trading it, whatever, right? So I think there just needs to be a proper mechanism in place and a proper way to roll this out, to get out in front of it. I think that would have been the proper strategy and the proper way. And I've always said that. I've been marketing, so I know these things. And I've been in spaces and I've talked about it. I've been quite open with some of the strategy and things that I would do, just putting my opinion out there, that they should get out in front of these situations instead of just let things happen and then try to like come back later and be like, oh, it's no big deal, and try to like dumb it down and kind of minimize the situation when, hey man, these are your core users, and at the end of the day, these are your people who are spending their hard-earned dollars. You know, not everybody's a millionaire out there being able to just travel the world and onboard licensors. Like, at the end of the day, like, we don't have like billions of dollars or billions of OMI tokens either. And we got to like, they have to realize, like, these are people that work hard, 40-hour, 60-hour, you know, per week jobs. Like, Chris, you own a business, so you know how the hustle. And you're out here like grinding on social media, Twitter, like you're out here creating content, and
right now,
and it's hard earned dollars, man. And that's the point, is like, even with these whales, they still have, like, if they're entrepreneurs, they have a lot of money. It's still hard earned dollars. And that's the core of it, is like, we can't dumb down these situations. We can't minimize the voices out here in the community. We have to treat people right and with respect. And that's, I think it goes back to communicating the right way, getting out in front, and not treating people like they don't have a say. I think minimizing and like blocking out like all the discourse out there, even if it's like negative, I think that's not necessarily a good strategy. I think you should always be able to accept both sides of the aisle, positive and the negative, and realize the negative people are who is actually passionate about your app. You just need to convert them back to being a passionate, positive person. And then that's in their wheelhouse to do. I just don't know what their strategy is to like turn those, you know, kind of negative sentiment into positive. So I worked in insurance. I dealt with this on a day-to-day basis. My rates are too high. Like, I hate you. Like, what can you do about my insurance? And then I would turn that customer into a positive customer at the end of the experience. And I think they need to have something in place for that. Is all I'm kind of saying.
Yeah, man. And it just sucks too, because it really does cater way more to whales now. And like that chance of, why would somebody with a lot of money buy your low mint off market when they can just buy it from VeVe directly? You know, like that, like for everybody that was collecting low mints, period, and then everybody in the future, like there's just no reason anymore. And then I don't know. I'm just very interested to see how this ends up going forward, and if they continue with it. And like you said, the response and the communication with it. Because what hurt me last night is David just really doesn't seem to care, which doesn't surprise me. I've never been like a huge on David. Like I'm a big fan of like Reese, and I like Dan, but I don't know. David he didn't seem to care, man. Honestly, it was a very much like, wow, they're just overreacting. But like, bro, this is like 10% of active wallets that are conversing right now on this Twitter space. We had like a couple hundred people on there. On top of those, on top of that percentage of active wallets, like, these are also very loud voices on Twitter spaces and community. So like for you to like negate it, like, oh, that's just the, you know, them being them. It's like, no, this is your core being its core, and you should listen. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I don't know how connected David is like to the community in terms of like, you know, what his day-to-day looks like. If he's just hearing like, he's like a layer. There's an insulated layer. Like he just hears things from people and he just like makes his assumptions off of that. So I think that could be it. Again, I don't know if it's necessarily like a David thing. I think like in terms of founders, they should be delegating a lot of this stuff down and allowing their team to do the communication part. So like I'm a big fan of Reese as well. Reese is like, again, we talked about this with Kay, is like Reese out there not communicating as much anymore, which is kind of a bummer because Reese was like the guy and he like tamed a lot of the FUD and like was just out there. Maybe he can't, I don't know. Like, again, we're at a point where the features are coming out super slow. There's only so much Reese can actually do anymore, except do his main job. So I don't know. There's a lot there to unpack, but again, I agree with you. They should be addressing like some of the users on Twitter or whatever. And, a lot of people have a lot of, say and opinion, and it gets reach, and that shouldn't be ignored for sure. And SoCal Homie says, make me positive again. Yes, we need to be positive again, man, for sure. Just roll out. I think if they just continue to deliver, again, that was my sentiment at the beginning of the year, because I knew this stuff was going to start happening this year. I knew like there's going to be some situations, but if they deliver and make good on these features and the roadmap, they can actually turn things around here. Again, we have a lot of time left here in this year. It's still a bear market. So I think they could deliver on a lot of things, but will they? That's the question. So
that's the question, man. That's the question.
Absolutely. 5 days left in Q1. Batmobile, VeVe Home Space, MCP, March, AMA, Red Circle, chat update, AAA brand announcement, music, sports, ... So I think they got one of those, and that was the AAA brand announcement. I think that was Ubisoft. So that was SoCal Homie saying, like, there's a lot of stuff that they haven't delivered on in Q1 that they said they were going to. Batmobile, VeVe Home Space, MCP, March, AMA, Red Circle, chat update, music and sports. That's a good point. I mean, again, they need to deliver on some of these things. If they make these NFTs interoperable or whatever, even long term, I'm still bullish on these things because like they are the first of their kind, like the FA Batman and the FA this, the FA that. So I'm still like super bullish long term. But there's just things like, man, deliver on this stuff, man. I don't know. There's a lot to be said there.
Yeah, this is a very rapidly growing tech. So like the whole like, oh, I'm just here to hodl for 10 years. Like, I mean, that could definitely pay off. Don't get me wrong, but like, how many years are we allowed to be in beta, or like how many years are we allowed to like not take very easy steps towards the right direction? You know, it's like eventually, if you keep lagging behind, it's gonna get you. So hopefully, I'm like you. I hope they get on top of some things before, because they're a powerhouse right now, and they have been since they started. They had a huge advantage with all the IPs. They had a huge advantage with just onboarding people because it's so easy. And they still have an advantage in both of those areas. But there's only so long you can get for just pushing stuff off before it's eventually going to catch up with you.
Yeah. And so far, I see in the comments mostly just people agreeing. I don't really see too many people saying like, this is no big deal. I think most people kind of agree where we're kind of at in the app. That's kind of the community sentiment I'm seeing on Twitter, seeing in spaces, seeing in the chat. Is just like, hey, let's clean this up. I think most people agree, like they could have probably did this better. They could have rolled it out. They could have did public, medium.
Do you think they would have even mentioned it if it was in the blockchain?
I don't know. That's again, that goes back.
I'll answer for you. They wouldn't. I don't think they would have, because when we discovered it on the blockchain, we called it out, and David's like, well, if it needs to be addressed, it'll be addressed. So unless somebody else was going to address it, I guess they would have just went on with it, and one day we might see these like really low mints in the store and wonder, wow, how did they get them? Like, yeah, it would have caught us off left field. So I don't know, man. I saw. I think it was
DC NFT, saying they kind of responded to this in their Discord, low key, but they were saying essentially, I think it was one of the team members that said that they don't hold back any comics, and they do, but the only comics that they hold back is for the artists or like the people that made the actual comic. Other than that, they will never sell comics to anybody outside of that. Like those are just reserved for the writers and the artists that made the actual comic book itself, and that's it. So I thought that was interesting, right? Now it's a little shots fired, but actually they're speaking directly to their community, and
Yeah, I don't think it's shots fired.
I don't think it is either.
Worried about this with us. This is how we do it.
But Chris, have you got the Master Collectors program at all?
No, of course not.
Yeah, me either. Or actually, I did. I'm sorry, I did just now.
Oh, like recently?
Yeah. Well, when I started this stream, and logged into the app, I had access, which I was kind of like at the beginning of the stream, I was like, I still don't have access, and then I opened the app and I was like, oh my bad, I actually do. I was like,
it looks like David was watching and he hooked you up.
They're like, get that man into the app.
It'll probably take away after you've been flooding this whole stream.
I know. I'm sorry. If you're watching, Reese and all the team, sorry, I had to. I don't know. I
do wonder. Like, obviously, it crosses my mind. Like, is the team going to be pissed if I cover this? And at the end of the day, I'm going to cover what I want to cover. But also, like, it gives them exposure no matter what.
Right.
The stream had like 60-something viewers all the time. It's probably going to get more views afterwards. I had a tweet last night covering the situation. I woke up to like 14,000 impressions. So, like, at the end of the day, maybe they're like, oh, well, that's kind of annoying that Chris talked about that, but we also got exposed to 14,000 people.
Yeah, for sure. And I while we're at it, I would love to see them like have a more proper Master Collectors Ambassadors program, because that's something they talked about since like the beginning, and even their like old marketing advisor like approached me at one point, and so I think they should just solidify the Ambassadors program, just roll it out. I don't know how, make it proper and go with it, right? And the reason why I say that is because for like betas, for example, you really do need content creators like in these betas and these tests and doing content for you, as early as possible, showing this stuff off. Like, I should have graphics like this, like access to these types of graphics in a folder like a Google Drive. So
yes, I agree. The graphics is such a small thing, but
right.
It's so nice.
Like, just give me the assets to make videos, like, and put it in my videos, and like make a solid clean thumbnail. Like, just solidify the Ambassadors program a little bit there. I mean, they have a couple of new hires, just utilize that. I think that would go a long way, because right now, like, there's just kind of nothing there, and there's not like really anything to do for content creators, except for, I mean, My Collectibles does a wonderful job, but he was a graphic designer and he makes his own stuff, right? He makes his own stuff from the app, or like takes screenshots and like does all this other stuff. But again, that's like his job or whatever. Like, he does that for a living. So I think it would go a long way if they like helped out in some of those types of situations where you have like a media kit, and maybe you have like this streamlined process where content creators can get betas and like things like that, because that's pretty standard across the board. I know some people in chat or like people might disagree with that, but that's pretty standard in the space. Like, you have you have games like Basie, for example. With the other side, you got them putting, well, maybe not them, but like Illuvium, they put beta releases out for people to take part in that. And a part of their program is involving content creators, because they want content creators covering their alphas and their betas, and they're giving them access, and they give the community an opportunity to actually participate as well, because they'll do competitions and giveaways, like get into the beta, win this competition, do a meme competition. So I feel like there's a lot of missed opportunity just with a simple beta, but that's just that's the last thing I'll quote unquote FUD.
You ever seen coffee beans before they're roasted?
No.
See?
I actually haven't.
Look, they're not drinkable. They're super dense.
They look green, almost.
They are green.
It's like a green tinge.
No, they're green. Yeah, look. I don't know if you can see in there.
What do they smell like when they're that color?
Rocks. They don't smell like anything. They smell like, well, they smell grassy.
So it's only when they're roasted that's when it really starts smelling like coffee
Yes.
or roasted beans rather.
Like this is the green coffee. I don't know if you can see it, and then like regular beans right here.
Yeah.
Little coffee lesson. I'm roasting today. I also have. You're talking about content creators. I have this box up here.
Ooh. Ayo.
Signed by the man himself, David and Dan. You know, I did this OTC deal with the box. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but I basically just sent them in one of my Myrmicornos, and they sent me this box. And it was pretty good day.
That's it. Yeah, that's hilarious, man. That's a funny joke. No, again, still love the app, still love the team. They just need to clean things up a little bit. I think that would go a long way. Kyle is homeless. What do you mean? The search bar works. Hey, does the search bar work? I need that search bar beta.
Times I was trying to look for stuff last night actually, and it wasn't working like with 80% of the stuff I was looking for.
Let's see. I'm catching up with comics. Or comments. I say comics.
I'm on my phone, so I can't see any.
Yeah. I think we'll end it there. I think I said what needs to be said. I think you said what needs to be said. Unless you got anything else you want to talk about or
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it that much. Mainly just I got to go roast coffee. But like we didn't even, I don't know if you mentioned it before I joined, but the fact that Danny sent them like 13 or something House of Cards is kind of weird. Like it makes me wonder if like that was part of the deal. And if that was part of the deal, that's kind of weird because that fallout recently with like House of Cards and with you wouldn't be able to if they gave him floor price for the House of Cards with however many he sent. That's kind of weird because it's not like you could just floor those and sell them immediately. Like that would have taken time and the floor would have probably been moving. Like you couldn't just like assume that you're going to sell everything for whatever the current floor price is because that's not how it works. So I'm interested why he sent VeVe so many House of Cards.
Yeah, that's really interesting too. There's a lot of stuff that they should definitely clear up in the next community update or a Twitter space. And again, that goes back to like just getting out in front of things and rolling things out. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. I think that would really go a long ways instead of having like people find it on the blockchain and kind of like reveal it and it become like this like big ordeal. Whereas they could have just made it official and hyped it up and got people actually excited about it. So I think there's like the flip side of this where there could have been a silver lining. There could have been some hype and missed opportunity on the other side of it. So it's not like this is all like one big failure. It's just maybe they'll learn from this and move forward. I think positive discourse is important. And it's not like we're fighting the project. We're just saying like this was kind of an issue. We're putting it out there and people are making their own decisions. And that's kind of ultimately what's going on here. We're already seeing it on Twitter. I mean, it's all over Twitter and people are kind of even making memes about it and things like that. So people are already
Started.
Yeah, exactly. People have already made their decisions about this. And I'm just kind of coming in and saying like, yeah, I agree. And they could have done better here. And on the flip side, could have even capitalized on this. So that's kind of where I stand on it.
We lost a very important community member and oil because of this. Like openly lost. It was Javier Torres, man. He tweeted this morning that he doesn't trust the company anymore. He's out. And like while a lot of people watching this will be like, good, you know, floor it or get out, you know, like the Doodles founders told people to do. He was a very pivotal. He was one of the first ones that saw this happening, and I think he was the one that pointed it out. He was following VeVe Bot on Twitter, which is it shows you the like the sales that happen in real time, and then he went to the Mutascan and noticed like something fishy going on. So I'm pretty sure Javier was the one that like discovered this is going on in real time. And he's time and time again, Javier has raised really good points. While some people might think he's fudding or whatever, a lot of times he's a very passionate and invested individual. And so like he likes to get to the bottom of some things. And if he really did mean it that he's out, like that's a heartbreak for me. I really respected him a lot. his views, him keeping track of everything, and I liked him as a person. So it's kind of sad to see that happen.
Yeah, yeah. Javier, like again, he started off as a big Moon Boy. Like Javier was like one of the biggest Moon Boys in the community, and to see him flip flop, so like given all the like situations and things like in this past, I don't know, 6 months or so, maybe a little bit longer. It's kind of like it stinks to see that, because it's like seeing people like drop like that. You don't want to see that, right? You want to see people like Javier, like excited about the app, excited to transact, excited to bring their hard-earned dollars into the app and things like that. So again, I think VeVe could learn from these users. Like instead of like discrediting them or like minimizing them or blocking them out, I think it's important to kind of like know what's going on in the community, address these issues, and really turn these users back into power users again, because I think they could still win a lot of people back and turn them into power users and things like that if they can just clean things up and get out in front of things. And that's kind of like, I'll keep saying that over and over, because that's just, at the end of the day, it's that simple.
Yeah, it is that simple, man. I was joking with Sam Ellis yesterday, because yesterday morning Sam Ellis tweeted basically that, because he's been somewhat bearish, but that's just because Sam's honest about how he feels. And he tweeted yesterday morning saying that like his sentiment's changing, that he's feeling more bullish, that things are feeling nice again. And like within like 6 hours, this happened. So like I made like a little post talking about how he is the top signal.
Yeah.
After Sam's like, "Oh look, guys, things are looking up. I think they're turning around." Like this happened. I'm just like, oh, the timing of that.
Yeah, and it's like one of those things too. It's just like, I hate to even bring it up, is like the Web 2 versus Web 3 mentality is like with Web 3 platforms, you don't like that are decentralized. You don't necessarily need to like worry about it, like, because it's decentralized and you manage your own stuff, and it's pretty it's transparent because it's the blockchain, and you're transacting with like protocol and things like that like don't have a say, or it's not biased, or it's not like anything crazy. And typically even DAOs like manage their business pretty well, even in a DAO, because you have to have like multi-signatures, like you have to have multiple people signing off on things. So it's a very transparent. You have what's called proposals as well. So like the DAO will have a proposal, and then community members can vote on that, and it gets passed or it doesn't, and that's how DAOs operate. So again, that's kind of like advantages to like Web3 there, whereas like a platform like VeVe, which I get like why you need to be centralized, why you need to deal with these licensors, and I'm still excited about it, but it is like one of those kind of like, it does highlight a kind of a drawback there when you're seeing stuff like this, where you kind of can take advantage of the situation, or take advantage of your position, how you're positioned as a business, and it kind of is a bummer in that sense.
Yeah, man. Also, if this is all done via contract on the blockchain, we would also know how much Danny paid. Not really knowing how much he paid for it because it wasn't done on Web3, where with Web3, like that, a lot of people might be like, well, that's none of your business or whatever. But again, like it kind of is, because it's going to affect the market and a lot more things. I don't know. Like it's weird to me that VeVe literally valued the prices of these comics and collectibles, like these mints that weren't available. Like I don't know, do you find it kind of weird that they chose to put a price on it? Like I feel like that could have easily went up for auction, or like let the market decide the price, but instead it was like, all right, we're going to wholesale you this off market. And this is another thing, like we really didn't see the transaction. Like I joked around about that's what paid for the car that Dan used, but like that's a matter of trust, which I don't like. I like trustless systems. Like, did David and Dan put it back into VeVe? I'm sure they did. I hope they did. But, like, do I know that without a doubt? Absolutely not. Like, they could have easily, if they wanted to, pocketed it, and then that money is never to be seen in our project, therefore not good for the project. And then the money, Danny could floor other collectibles and comics now that he has these, which takes liquidity out of the market. It makes the gem value essentially, or makes things worth less. So, I'm not saying they did that, but Web3 would solve my my brain going to conclusions and guessing things, because this would all be done on chain, I could say, oh, well, Danny paid 100 ETH for 52 collectibles. You know, like, oh, it's there. It is. It's all done on chain. It's all transparent. Instead of my mind wondering, you know, what went where. And even in Web3, like, the good thing is, like, because you used to be able to use like Tornado Cash. Now there's like other things like try to hide the transaction history, but there's always somebody smarter that can actually figure out the bottom of it, where the money went. So if somebody did choose to personally pocket money, somebody will find out about it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that, again, if they need to build back trust with getting out in front of these situations and making it official, making these transactions public, having an actual mechanism behind this, so we can have the sales data, so we can make educated decisions on, you know, what mint was bought at how much. And I think that would go a long way. And you know, Von Doom said it best here. Love VeVe. I believe in the IP, the business model, and David Yu. I just wish they would get rid of the mid-level people and hire senior people. This team needs upcycled. To his point, like, instead of just, maybe they just need to expand the team. I don't know if I necessarily agree with all that being said, but I think the solution would be maybe to expand the team, and that way you can delegate some of these types of things to the team and get out in front of them.
What did Von Doom say? I missed it.
He just says he loves the app and everything that they're doing. He just wishes they would hire senior people and things like that, and kind of get out of their like mid-level mentality. And I kind of agree with that. I think they just need to expand. I think that they've been focusing on expanding, but they just need to do it much quicker and cycle through people. If people aren't working out, say like Alex hires somebody or whatever, and they just don't work out, just cycle through them. That's kind of like, you need to be able to churn through stuff until you get like a high level person in there to do really high level work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
They still have yet to really hire like a PR position.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess that's Alex's position. I don't really know. I know Corey kind of does content. Ryan kind of manages like social media. There's still not like somebody directly in charge of, like, I don't want to say customer support, but like, I think there should be somebody to address and communicate like pretty big issues.
Yeah.
But there's not.
Yeah, I think it would go a long way to expand the team out and scale. I mean, that's really all it really is.
I actually have some input on that too. So I applied for a VeVe position like 9 months ago. It was the one that Corey got, which is fine. Like, I'm super happy for Corey, but I will just be upfront. You know, I read the position job description very well, and I'll say that. I'm trying to think of how to say this in a nice way. Basically, it was almost like they try to cram 2 positions into that one position. Does that make sense, Kyle? Mm-hmm. Like, basically, it's like somebody saying, "Hey, Kyle, we want you to be a developer, but we also want you to be in charge of our communication." Like, you know, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's not the same job. That's kind of how I felt when reading the job. I still applied for it because I wanted to be a part. But all that being said, maybe they do eventually need to start breaking people into like specific. I don't know if they're trying to get Corey to kind of do both of those now. But maybe they do need like a specific person for PR and a specific person for content, a specific person for managing the team, instead of kind of trying to divvy up the roles a little bit too much.
Yeah. Again, that goes back to scaling the team, and I think that's what they're really struggling with right now. We've seen them make progress there with like Mitch and the development side, but again, like you were saying on the PR front and the PR side, kind of lacking a little bit there. And you know, I don't know if Alex needs to be out there in PR. I honestly think he's probably good at doing back end stuff and like, you know, working those like syndication, like what we saw kind of with Sesame Street. Even though some people saw it as an L, it still got out there, right? And I think you need that type of, you know, formula for the bull run and things like that. But like maybe they don't have the PR to really get out there. They hired a firm back in the day. I don't know if they even have that anymore. So again, maybe that goes back to scaling the team a little bit more, a little bit quicker, instead of going at a kind of slow pace. But again, maybe they have like actual, you know, Web3 advisors advising them. I don't know. Maybe they just don't want to take advice from Web3 people, and maybe they think they know what's best. So again, I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear from them directly, though.
Well, they definitely did I made a video on this. They definitely did borrow the idea of the Bored Ape Yacht Club serums, mutant serums.
Yeah.
Use it for the function because it's extremely similar. And I think they borrow ideas a lot, dude. Even like going back to this OTC, I don't think the concept is bad at all. I'm just making some coffee right here. See that?
Yeah.
I don't think the concept of OTC is bad. Bored Ape Yacht Club just released some ordinals, and they released them for way too much money. Well, it was an auction style, so I guess they didn't price it. But like some of them went for like 7 BTC, some went for like 3 BTC. I really think this entire thing was like a fundraising event. It was literally like we looked at it on DJ and Dab's podcast, but it was not good art. It was generative. It was not a known artist. They did it to raise money. And at the end of the day, it kind of sucks, but at least they're upfront about it. So I don't think like this would be bad to do OTC deals for like fundraising. Just communicate it. You know, it's not that far off of what Bored Ape Yacht Club just did with those funds they raised from this ordinal sale. I mean, like, yes, if you want to get technical, like there's a lot of things different. But essentially, I look at it as like it's fundraising for the platform. That's really cool. You know, it's a good trade-off. Just make it fair. Or communicate it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why does it have to like end up where we're having these conversations?
Yeah. Listen, man, I want to kind of end it there. Not to beat a dead horse, but I agree. And just get in front of it, scale the team, do what they needed to do. I think they can clean it up and hopefully not like be in this situation again where, you know, the core users, core whales, core like OGs in the community don't feel alienated. And they feel that their voices are heard and not like feel minimized or anything like that. I think that's really important and would go a long ways. You know, I'm in a lot of chats with a lot of OGs that maybe aren't willing to do this type of content, or maybe not willing to do, I don't know, like they maybe they don't really want to cover it, but they kind of agree with this whole sentiment is like, you know, VeVe can definitely do better and that they should. So I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, man, I agree. I'm just now finally looking at chat for the first time since I've been in here because I don't know if you noticed I've been moving around. Some of us got to work for a living, Kyle. I can't just stream games all day, man. I gotta put in the labor, bro. Yeah.
And shout out to SoCal Omi Homie. He says join Kyle's membership for $1. It's less than a comic. It's less than a Chris coffee cup of coffee.
What? Get out.
And YouTube takes like 31 cents, so I only get 69 cents of that $1.
You would.
But if let's say we had like 500 Omi homies join the membership for like $1, that would go a long ways because me and you are dads raising kids and have businesses and families to take care of. So all that stuff does go a long way and helps out with delivering content like this to you guys in the audience, and it truly does mean a lot. Me and Chris really do value our members. You know, we always give shout outs to the members down in the chat, and even off camera, we're always like really excited to do content and for our members. So anyways, just a quick shout out to all the channel members out there.
Yeah, if you guys want like a really good deal on Kyle's membership, just hit me up with that OTC. I'll like make sure to get you.
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. We got to end it on that. That's hilarious. We, might as well laugh about the situation. There's a lot of good memes on Twitter, not going to lie. But yeah, that's all I got. I wish I could do more positive content. Maybe VeVe will announce something super bullish in the not so distant future, and we'll get back to like the kind of positive content and things like that. But this one was kind of a big one. I think that does need to be highlighted and addressed and things like that. All right, Chris, well, have a good day, man. And everybody in chat, appreciate you, fam. Thanks for joining in. I know it might have been one you maybe not enjoyed as much as my positive stuff, but we did. We had to do it. So love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. And I'll be streaming possibly Dead Drop later. So peace. Peace, love, VeVe. Be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace. Chris, you got any final words?